Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
First of all, well, we got to start with the...
Trying to hear the song.
Got to start with what?
Steps.
Steps.
You have notes again?
I guess we
He
don't
does.
have
He's got his
to...
notes.
I guess it's kind of silly for me to say we have to start with, since Joe and I can proudly say, how long do we do Saturdays? 25 years?
Oh.
Because they started a little later than Mondays.
Yeah, but I think Saturday started in 1983.
No, 83 is when we came back. And then we took a couple more years.
Maybe it
I'd
was
say
85. 85.
And you finally were wise enough to hang it up about 30 years later. No,
Right.
25.
25, let's call it.
25 years later.
Yeah.
Is that then when, Pat, we would get the emails asking who's the guy filling in for Joe? When Judd had been doing it with you for about
6 years. Yeah, 6 years. I love listening to you and Joe on Saturdays. Well, okay, good. Thank you. But anyway, where are we going to start? Joe and I, the music would play, Grapevine, right? Grapevine.
Yep.
And then neither of us knew who was going to speak first or what the topic would be.
Didn't make any difference.
It was always a great adventure as to.
That's the
I'd
brilliance.
look at him and and so we'd start talking
Well,
about something.
I have a way to start today.
Mhm, yes.
I would like to say that this September swoon by the Twins
Yes.
is making me a little nervous about what excitement are you supposed to look for next spring? What hope are you supposed to cling to?
To no surprise, I was just on with Judd and basically said
Is that
the
what you're
same
saying?
thing.
Well, I
There
mean,
is
what are we supposed to look
yes,
for?
What are we going to embrace? There is nothing to embrace.
And presumably
Buxton.
Korea, whatever his name is.
No, he's gone. He's going to be he's going to be a free agent, and this has been a great September salary drive for him. Mm-hmm. He's played better this last month than he has all year, getting people interested again and giving him $200 million or something. So he's gone. But when you read that Buxton considers this a successful season, when he played 92 games, and 18 of those after the All-Star game, he played 18 games, and he hasn't played center field maybe 5-6 times since the All-Star game? Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't play center field, his value is cut in half.
I would say
in half. So you don't have it is now, to me, Joe, almost a given that he signed that $100 million contract on the advice of his agent because they know that knee is chronic. Tendinitis.
You've always held that theory.
Do you not? Tendinitis, okay, they're gonna take out some particles like they used to with Tony every year invasively. But that does not cure tendinitis, I don't think. I don't think there's a surgical repair for tendinitis in the knee. So you can't.
Have you ever had tendinitis?
I don't
in your
know.
elbow, for example?
I don't know.
I've had it, and it goes away.
Yes, yeah, it's supposed to go away, isn't it?
It goes
under
away.
Treatment. This is
So
not,
he must have the kind that stays.
apparently. And then even your Iron Man hasn't played for a month.
Nope.
Polanco.
No.
And all these guys, Kirilloff, you cannot go into next season and say, boy, I can't wait for that guy to get in the lineup every day.
Yeah.
Larnick. Do you see that Larnick now has a bad wrist to go with a bad interior or whatever the hell he had before?
And Sonny Gray, what's wrong with him?
Well, they shut him down. I'm not worried about him. They shut him down because the season was over. But he has a hamstring, I think, right?
He's had a couple of different things this year.
But he's fine. He's the least of their problems. But there's nothing, Joe, until they come out and announce we have done, there's something going on here that has not allowed us to keep our players healthy, and we're going to change a lot of things, including personnel, to try to figure out what it is, because this is unacceptable. And we're not going to rest guys in April thinking they're going to play for us in August if we rest them in April. If they don't announce that they're changing a lot of things.
You don't have the manager in place for that.
Well,
We did announce Rocco's coming back. I
know, but
Yeah.
he's too embracing of taking care of these people.
and it doesn't work. Right. Terry Francona, youngest team in baseball. Now, maybe that's part of the reason. Crusty old manager.
Yep.
He goes to the ballpark.
And he stands in that corner.
He goes to the ballpark, and he looks at yesterday's lineup card and writes down exactly the same names, except twice a week he might let the backup catcher play, right?
Right.
That's it. He has basically played the same 9 guys the whole second half of the season, and they have no position players on the injured list. They have no position players. They have a 3-pitch, they had 3 pitchers. Now they only have 2. And one of the pitchers was because he punched something after he pitched.
Oh, that's
poorly.
right. Yeah.
The police act kid. So whatever you're doing, not playing guys is not the answer.
Right.
It's baseball.
Right.
Justin Morneau, now he got kicked in the head and he couldn't do it. He got a concussion. But Justin Morneau every spring would tell you, my goal is to play 162 games. Mm-hmm. What happened to that?
Right.
What happened? I mean, and then the whole pitching philosophy does not work. It does not work making your bullpen be responsible for more innings than your starters.
Right.
It does not work, and they should realize that. I asked Rocco about it Friday. He gave a long answer about how they'd like their starters to go deeper into the game. It shouldn't be we'd like them to. It should be they are going to.
They are going to.
Yes, we're not going to put that much pressure on a mediocre bullpen. So yeah,
You know who I like?
You look at every position, and you don't know what it'll be next spring.
No.
Every position.
Miranda will be playing third or first. You got to like him.
I do like him. What about
Nick-
Urshela?
I like Urshela too, but I'm not sure they're going to keep him because they maybe think Miranda is their third baseman. Arise, okay, good. I
Who's
think
your
he's
first
fine at
baseman
first
then?
base. I think Arise is fine at first. They would like it to be Kirilloff, but he's having his arm shortened. He's having his bone shortened. That ain't good.
Are they putting him in a machine or
they're
something?
They're curing the wrist by cutting some of it off. That can't be I've never heard of that one.
That's kind of an important part to hit.
Yeah, right.
I like wrists.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. And there's nothing to tie your hopes to it. And this is also the era, Joe, when we were covering ball in the 70s. Every spring, hope springs eternal that you could finish fourth. Hey,
Right.
this will be an okay year. We'll finish fourth. That's not bad. Or, when there were 2 divisions, okay. We're not as good as Oakland, but we'll be okay. Now it's with this
8 teams that make
with
the
12 playoff teams. It's like every other sport. If you don't make the playoffs, the season's a failure. So there's this hope. The hope springs eternal is gone from spring training because you look at this team and you say, you're going to get down there next spring and what do you as you
got?
just said, what are we tying your
What do you got?
What are you tying your wagon to?
Right.
I mean, it is, Joe, on September 4th, they were tied for first.
Right.
They're now 12 out.
Right.
12 out.
That is a free fall.
They're going to end up, I said 78 and 84, quite a while back. They're not going to win 78. They're 74 and 79.
I haven't checked the standings. Is there a chance Kansas City's going to pass them?
No, they're
Okay.
We're damn secure.
You
in
got
our
third place
We
locked
got
up.
third
That's ours,
place.
baby.
We
we're
own
damn-
third place.
We're damn
In a
secure.
5-team division.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they did for Fan Appreciation Week, but they must have sent some tickets to the season ticket holders on the apps and then counted them in attendance? Because they announced 24,000
No way.
on Friday. I thought it was
And it was cold and
12
miserable.
or 14 maybe. It looked very small.
Wow.
15. And then Saturday night they announced 30.
Yep.
And I did not look. I did not watch that game.
I
but,
saw a bit of the Friday night game, and there's not a chance there was 24,000
God,
people
no.
there.
And then they had 30. But
Although, no, wait, maybe there might have been because Shohei was pitching Friday.
No, there was not.
There wasn't?
No,
Okay.
remember, it was misting and cold.
Yeah, I was at
there
the.
there were 13, 14.
I was
maybe.
at the
13,
Jordan High
14.
School football game, and it was cold and
Oh,
misty.
thank God you weren't at the Richfield game.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, that was a bad deal.
News of that did start to surface while we were at the game.
It did throughout high school football, the news surface. I
See,
was getting video
I see
of
they
it.
arrested 2 youth.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
15
Yeah,
and
that's-
16.
That's good. Are they the ones that got shot, or they?
I think they did the shooting.
They did the shooting. And how are the youth that got shot? Are they doing okay?
They're okay.
They were in a group that they did not let into the game.
Apparently.
Do we know why they didn't
don't.
let? Because they,
I'm going to guess they suspected something.
Yes.
Which
well,
they had
if
every
you
right to.
suspect something like that, maybe you should let the cops know to break
Richfield
them up.
is
Break them
not
up.
the Richfield of our youth, is it?
You
Weren't they
know-
Lake Conference?
Oh
Richfield
God,
was
they
Lake
were one of the
Conference.
really first big suburban powers.
Lake
they were,
Conference.
I mean, they were huge. Like
Yeah.
Joe, I don't think Richfield High School is like older than 49 or 50.
You had nothing
those kids,
beyond
those kids
Interstate
went to
494.
Washburn and Southwest. Those
Right.
kids went to Washburn and Southwest. But my
They used to have great hockey teams.
my
The
great
Richfield Spartans.
stepson Ryan bought a house there, right?
yeah?
Right across, right next to a little house, right next to Richfield High, the bus garage at Richfield High School, which was then, and then the high school was on the other side, and it was really small house, but it was his first one, and he had a halfway decent job, and somebody wrote on the fence that was facing the road on that side, facing the high school, this. I don't know. It was I think it was in Spanish, but it was like some gang thing, right?
Yeah.
And we got the fence painted quickly for $900 to get rid of it, because Ryan was going to be moving to Florida, and the house was on the market. And KSTP had gotten video of this fence.
Yep.
And for 2 weeks, they kept running the video of the fence.
That's not good for sales.
Even though we'd already paid $900 to get the fence signed, painted. I went down there and said, "Stop running that damn thing. We're trying to sell the place, for God's sakes." And you keep saying
You are hurting the resale.
Hey, yes. Hey, isn't this the place where they had the Spanish gang signs on?
Joe,
Yeah.
when Pat went down to TV, did he say, "Where's the camera department"?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Where's the news editor department that we feel obligated? I said, go over and take the same film or the video of the new freshly painted fence.
We paid a lot of money for this.
Yes, that's right.
Did the house ever sell?
Oh yeah, it was. I don't know how it did. I mean, he sold it, so whatever he got for it, I don't know. It was small, but it was. But the wife used to, Stout was. That's where Stout was original. That was his original
I did
home.
not know that was his original
until he was
home.
3, and he used to be left outside in there was an warmer area for him, but he was left outside, and Katie couldn't stand the poor Stout being there by himself in case Ryan didn't come home that night. So she used to go over and kidnap him and bring him over to our house, Stout, because Stout didn't like. He wanted companion. He wanted people around,
Right, right.
And so anyway, but yeah, well, maybe he was a little nervous back there because there was people out there
Painting gang signs.
spraying gang signs. Maybe he's perceptive. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was Richfield is. Those neighborhoods. I had friends who lived there, real good friends who lived in all those little houses. They all built those houses after World War II,
Yeah.
and just all over the place. It's they were a power big. They had a hard time beating Edina, I think, but they were a football powerhouse, but really a baseball powerhouse and good in everything. Yeah.
What conference are they in now?
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
I don't know. They're in a smaller
Yeah.
school conference, yes. But yeah, they were one of the big powers of the original lake. Yeah.
They're all of them have just swapped. I can't keep them all straight anymore.
No, and in football, it's not conferences; it's sections.
It's sections,
Or something.
yep.
It's really goofy. Anyway, that's a football game that you probably didn't want to go. Anyway, the Gophers, pretty good.
You got to say then that they beat a real team.
And beat them bloody.
Now they're in
Beat
the
'em
top
bloody.
25.
Yeah, I think they should actually be rated a little higher. Now that I'm on the PGA bandwagon, I think they should be
You,
rated
sir,
higher.
are a genius.
I am. As I told Kenny, I'm old.
Mm-hmm.
I can barely get around on my bad knees anymore. I'm very forgetful, but I'm still crafty. I'm still crafty. A week ago, I'm saying, these guys are going to beat Michigan State. Michigan State isn't that good. It's going to be PJ hysteria. They're going to be in the top 20. They made it 21st. How do I get ahead of the freight train here? And then I remembered my conversation with our old friend Harvey. Mm-hmm. So I wrote this thing how, as you said, the lead was the last sentence.
Lead was buried.
The last sentence. And it was the wit and wisdom of Harvey that would convince me to jump on the bandwagon. So anyway, I thought that was
Okay, now they have Purdue, which is a test, but they're at
yeah,
home.
but Purdue
Isn't
just
the quarterback
barely. The quarterback's hurt. Their best quarterback is hurt, and they beat Florida Atlantic at home by 2. They lost the week before to Syracuse. I thought they were going to be pretty good, and if they have the quarterback, it might be a game. But if they don't have their real quarterback, then the Gophers will run. But
Because
the
that's
thing
here,
about-
right? That's at the bank.
Thing about this team though is Tanner Morgan was pretty dang good 3 years ago, Joe, which is halfway through his career, right? Halfway through his career. He's been there 12, 14 years. But with the Soroka as his offensive coordinator. And then he went to Penn State for 2 years, and everybody started ripping Tanner Morgan. He's terrible. And they had this Mike Sanford, who was a buddy of Flex. He brought him in as the offensive coordinator, and he'd gotten fired a lot of places. Well, Soroka ended up halfway, 2/3 of the way through last year, he fired Sanford, right?
Correct.
Sanford didn't make it to the end of the year.
I
right?
don't believe so.
Maybe before the bowl game he fired him, but Soroka got fired at Penn State for no reason, and so they brought him back, and now they're actually playing offense again like they did in 2019. And Tanner Morgan looks best he's ever
I
looked.
tell you
Is
what.
Tanner Morgan in his 7th or 8th year?
I think it's 6th.
Yeah.
How many years do they get to stay now?
Well, they got the COVID
They
bonus
got
here.
the COVID year, and then 1 year he redshirted. Joe.
So that's a
As
year.
a freshman, he redshirted.
That's a year.
Then he played 2 years.
Okay, now he's up
Then
to
we had
that's
the
3
COVID,
years.
Then we had the COVID year. So
That's 4.
That year didn't, even though they played 8 games, didn't they?
I think so.
He's started way more games than any other quarterback.
We
in
set
Gopher
records
history.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for history. And then unlike like the Division III guys who get the COVID year, they didn't play. They didn't, like the MIAC guys didn't play. The Gophers played 8 games that year. And they go to a bowl game that year too. They might have. I don't know.
That would have been 2020.
2020. So then he gets last year, and he was terrible, and they weren't real good. But then he announces he's coming back again, and they had 3 quarterbacks transfer to get the hell out of here because they all thought he was going to leave, and now he's playing pretty good. And I guess he can joke about being a grandpa and all that stuff.
So the 2020 was the Outback Bowl year, but that was the 2019 season. The 2020 season was the 2021 bowl game, which was, of course, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl game that the Gophers played
And
in.
who did we defeat that year?
The 2021 Guaranteed Rate Bowl game, we beat West Virginia 18-6.
I can't remember where the Guaranteed Rate was played. I know they went to the Motor City.
Who's
one
got
year.
the stadium called that? The White Sox?
That's the White Sox.
Yes. I don't know where the game. I can't remember where they played West Virginia, but they're and the running back. The running back is what, year 5?
Something like that.
Ibrahim, who's really good.
The 2021 Guaranteed Rate Bowl game was played at Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That's right. It's the 3rd string bowl game down in Phoenix, right?
Was it the baseball stadium?
Yes, sir. Huh. Mm-hmm. A lot of those bowl games are played at ballparks.
But the funny thing is they had a bad recruiting year last year. They're 55th in the nationally and last in the Big Ten, but none of the freshmen are playing. They don't need any freshmen because they have they did good in the transfer portal, and they got all these other guys that are coming back on the COVID year, and they are a very experienced crew. And they've discovered some guys. They lost 4 of their offensive line starters, but they got a left tackle now. I can't even pronounce his name, who's a monster, and who didn't play much last year. And then they got some other transfers. They're good. They're good. They're going to.
You asked earlier. I have the information on Richfield. Richfield High School joined the Tri-Metro Conference in 2019. They are with Holy Angels, Fridley, Columbia Heights, and your Mahatmadi High School in the Tri-Metro Conference.
Mahatmadi has got to be the powerhouse in that league.
Orono, Farmington, and
Columbia Heights, which has always been pretty good and nasty in football. Minneapolis Henry, which hadn't won a game in 2 years and is now 4-0, killed them last Friday. Henry apparently has got some athletes over there, so that's good.
You want to talk about your Vikings?
Yeah. Lions, baby.
Your lucky Vikings?
The Lions. God, they played bad most of the first half, and then they got the 2 touchdowns. But
here's what I don't
get.
get.
Their defense isn't very good.
Dan Campbell, who I'm a fan of, by the way, just because he kind of bucks the trend and he's kind of nuts, which I think it's good for the league. So he decides, you know what? We're going to roll the dice, baby. We're going for it every chance we get.
Fourth down.
And they succeeded throughout most of the game. And then finally, when they need less than a yard.
They got 2 No, they hadn't needed 4. It was 4th and 4.
Oh, I was thinking it was 4th and 1. Okay.
But they had 2 choices. Go for it or punt. They decided to kick a field goal and give the ball to the Vikings at the middle of the field.
At midfield.
The guy couldn't have made it from 30, much less 54. He had no chance. And then Campbell beat himself up after the game. But as longtime observers of the Lions, nobody's surprised.
No.
Nobody's surprised. Nobody. I mean, the Bud beat them. They actually had pretty good teams in the 70s when Joe Schmidt was the coach, right? Remember? But they would always figure out a way to lose to Bud. He'd block a kick or do something. And then they got terrible, and they've been pretty much terrible for 40 years. They have 1957, Joe, the Lions won with hard-drinking Bobby Lane as their quarterback, won the NFL title. Since then, they have won 1 playoff game.
Isn't that something?
In the NFL. 1 playoff game.
You mentioned Detroit's kicker, which I don't even know what his name is, but our former colleague, Matthew Collar, had the greatest tweet about the Detroit kicker yesterday. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Detroit's kicker looks like a guy who plays a kicker in a cheap Hallmark Christmas movie about a kicker who finds out he has a guardian angel guiding his kicks, but the angel is really there to show him the meaning of Christmas. That is so spot on for the way that the Detroit kicker
That's
looks.
65 years, 1 playoff.
65 years, they've won 1 playoff.
You know what that leads to, don't you?
Just got ejected from game 124 or 5 in a row for standing and cheering at the end of the 3rd quarter while we're on defense.
Well, we're on defense.
That's what just happened.
That's amazing.
That's what just happened at Ford Field to this guy and to this guy.
He's just bleak-faced in that video.
Well, you know who I texted last evening?
Who's that?
Our regular guest on the ride when the Lions were playing, Rob Parker.
Oh, my God, yes.
Parker, columnist there. Nobody could disavow the Lions like Parker. And I texted Parker and I said, were you shocked to see the Lions lose this game? and he's now writing some stuff for Deadspin.
Okay.
And he sent me a copy of his column saying Dan Campbell's another Lions fraud who should not be coached. Parker was we'd get Parker on and we'd try to say one nice thing about the
that
Lions.
wasn't happening
He
with
just
Robbie.
ripped
No,
the hell
no.
out of him. Rob Parker, he's the greatest. He he was. I had to get a hold of. I was glad to see I still had his number on my
Oh, my
phone
God.
because I hadn't talked to him. In
It was
4 or
just
5
you'd
years.
say the Lions. Your thoughts?
Yeah, right. He would. Yeah.
Now they got New Orleans in London.
In London.
So I was
I'd like
looking
to
at
go
this.
to London. I'd like to go to London and
You don't
not
wanna
go to the
game.
football game. Not go
Who
to
are we
the football
sending? Who's the
game.
paper sending?
I would guess Gessling, but I think we're down to one. One
One traveler?
saving money. One tab.
So let me ask you boys a question. Let's see. We got an 8:30 kickoff. That means
yeah.
I'm gonna have to get up at 5 and start drinking early.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Are the bars? What time can the bars open?
I don't think we can start serving till 10.
on Sundays.
Yeah, I think it's 10, but you can
They
open at
can't-
8, but you can't serve till 10.
Now, if the acting governor would want to make some friends, he would have a special governor edict
that's a good
that you
point.
can start drinking at 8 on this Sunday.
Declare
right?
it
That's much
Vikings
of a
Day.
campaign platform, though.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who opened the bars at 8.
Get my vote, baby. Let's go here.
That's right. That'd be a pretty.
So I have to mention this as long as we're on the NFL. You guys did see the greatest play of the year so far yesterday. When my Bills were playing the Miami Dolphins in 10,000 degree humidity yesterday
yes, they
in
were
Miami.
keeling over left and right. The Bills. Yeah.
We had in the fourth quarter of the game, we had the butt punt.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see the butt punt?
No.
Miami kicker, they're snapping it from their 3, and the Miami punter he's trying to quick do it because he's so crowded. Well, the guy that's supposed to be the spotter there that says hike, he was too close to the punter. The punter punted the ball right in his rear
Hit
end.
him right in the ass.
I did see the tirade that some Bills coach had.
When they lost the game.
Yeah,
Ken
that guy,
Dorsey,
I'd fire him.
the offensive coordinator.
The Bills coach. But the Bills had about half their team, right?
Oh, yeah. We were
And-
keeling over big time.
Well, no, but injuries. Didn't they have 4 defensive starters who didn't play?
Yeah, including both safeties.
Yeah, and then some guys on offense. They had like 6 or 7 regulars now.
The Bills had 90 offensive snaps, and the Dolphins had 39, and they still found a way to lose that game.
How many Bills fans were in attendance?
I was watching a fair amount of that game, flipping back and forth between that and the Vikings, and it sounded like it was a home game for the
Did
Bills.
they have a new field?
Miami, no, they still got that Joe
Robbie?
Robbie. Yeah, they still got Joe Robbie. They keep talking about needing a new one, but
You want to find something to watch over and over again with a 10 and 7-year-old? The butt punt. That was a
they
big.
like
That was a
that.
big
You
hit
like
in our
that, huh?
house. Oh yeah, that was a
they
big
like
hit in our
that.
house.
So anyway, they could be 4-1 real easy because the Saints have no offense, and
Boy, they're terrible.
And then the Bears are here on the following.
Correct. Yep.
Then they get a week off, and then they get to play the
No,
Bears.
they don't. They're not taking their bye.
No London.
They're coming straight back, and they're playing on
Okay.
the next Sunday
Well.
against the Chicagos.
Well,
Here?
it was an undeserved victory, but what the hell? You got to take them, I guess.
You know what they say, Pat?
We were booing them pretty. It sounded.
Yeah.
You don't. Did you watch on TV?
No.
Okay, because you don't get the sound. It's loud in there when you're in there, apparently, because I don't go. But Judd says it's loud in there, but when you're watching on TV, the sound it doesn't sound like the Metrodome did. You never say, "Boy, how are they going to get the playoff?" Or
Right.
anything like that with this monolith that they built. You see, we're putting a big fence around the People's
Oh,
Stadium.
Yeah.
We got to keep the people out of the People's Stadium. Damn it! They might want to walk by the place. We can't have them just wander up the steps.
What is that?
And look
Why
in the
are we
window.
doing that? Homeless?
Yeah. Yes.
No idea why. No idea.
You're
why.
paying for it.
I know the Vikings want it desperately, but they aren't paying anything for
you'll
it.
pay for it.
No, that's. But it is the.
Will that help or not have any on the
but-
birds? Will the
but
birds be okay?
I don't think it keep the birds out. But how many ever millions you're going to spend for the fencing, and it's going to be expensive, they said. How about having a couple of security guards who work 24 hours? Mm-hmm. You know, and pay
I
him.
still don't know what we're
Pay 'em-
afraid of for the fence.
No.
I don't know what anything about the fence.
Maybe some people lounging on. The Vikings don't like the look of people lounging on the steps, but you know they used to run around the old one, and I don't think you're going to let us in to run laps around this place like they used to.
I don't think
right
so.
there.
I don't think so.
None of that. So anyway,
We did get the all-important halftime entertainment news.
Oh, yes.
Rihanna is going to do halftime.
Yes.
I didn't know she could
is
sing.
she going to be full? Oh yes, is she going to be fully clothed?
I don't know.
You know, she's had some, from what I can tell from the headlines, she's had some provocative sportswear.
That's what they tell me,
in some
Pat.
of these events. I don't know. Who's she married to?
Oh, I don't know.
Who's
One of
got the
those
Super
guys.
Bowl this year?
Arizona. We're going
Arizona.
to Glendale,
We're
baby.
going to Glendale.
I covered one there. I covered the Brady loss.
The undefeated team.
The undefeated team
Really?
losing to the Giants. That was a hell of a game.
Brady and Rodgers did not
Didn't
have
exactly
a lot of
light it up.
conversation yesterday.
You know what is going to happen? And they didn't light it up. You know what? There was a lot of low-scoring games in the NFL, so be prepared for endless holding on pass plays next week as they're trying to get more. They like points, they like touchdowns, and they don't like it when there's low-scoring games. And they particularly don't like it when they have Brady and Rodgers in America's game at 3:25, and it's 14-12,
Right.
and it's a clunker from start to
I
finish.
can't think of which quarterback's more annoying. I think it might be Rodgers.
Oh yes. I mean, Brady's okay. He's terrible
Yeah,
if you
but he's
try
got
to.
problems with Giselle that are
Well,
just
that's
a
what I was going to
terrible
say.
background story.
Pat, did you see the tweet? I think this is a comedian by the name of Miles Brown that I retweeted yesterday. He said, "Loser of Rodgers versus Brady has to call their family."
Right. I thought that was pretty good.
So what is the latest? I know Giselle was unhappy, but she's not.
Well, what
they're
we're
not
learning,
splitting.
Pat, what we're learning is that the dispute has nothing to do with football.
Oh, really?
That's the claim.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, he dumped Bridget Moynihan
Yeah.
after she had his baby.
That's right.
So, you know what? He's a
Think he has
very
options?
handsome. He's a very handsome, and they both have options.
They have
That's
options.
the problem.
Yeah.
There's options. They went to the Bahamas for 11 days though to patch things up,
Did
right?
They bring the kids?
Oh yeah, the kids were there too. Yeah, they had family time. So we don't know what's going on, huh? But
11 days in the Bahamas with Giselle during football season. Mm-hmm. I'd take that.
they really had no choice. The Bucks had to let them do whatever they wanted to do, right?
What are they going to say? No, you can't do that. Okay, then I'm going to retire.
Yeah. Well, anyhow,
I don't
it
think
was-
Rodgers looks good physically.
No,
It's that
He's got
ayahuasca.
this stuff. What's the
He's eating
it's,
that
It's
magic weed or something.
are they-
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca.
What is it?
Hold on.
What does it do for
That
you?
gives you clarity.
It's not. Is it for the mind?
Yes.
It's for the mind. And
Apparently.
he dumped the good looking gal, Ciabana or whatever her name is.
All right, here we go. Aaron Rodgers explains why ayahuasca, AYAHUASCA, is not a drug, he explains. This is a story from the Sporting News. Rodgers apparently really loves two things, football and psychedelic drugs, namely ayahuasca. His penchant for his Peruvian trips to ingest a hallucinogenic tea has become a major talking point surrounding the Packers passer since August. He
It
says
is a
it provides,
hallucinogenic tea.
he says it provides clarity.
Why is he allowed to take that?
It's not on the banned substance list, Joe.
I bet they're gonna. The NFL though, they don't like any of that stuff, so they're probably gonna try to. If it's psychedelic, but it's herbal, is that okay?
Well, he looks sickly though. He looked sickly yesterday.
Yes, he does. He looks freaky.
Yeah.
He looks freaky. What a strange dude, man.
Yep.
Strange guy.
a hell of a
but-
quarterback,
oh,
though.
God, he's still pretty good, but
How old is Brady? 45.
Yes, sir.
45.
And
It's a
Aaron's
miracle.
38.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and he's probably got, 3 more years? I think the
easily.
contract he signed was for 3 more years or something like that. But
Rodgers,
yeah,
not Brady.
He's no. Brady's whether it's Giselle or not, I can't believe he's going to play again next year.
Oh, I would
He doesn't have a good team, That's one of his. Of course, the whole NFC stinks, so that gives him hope too, I suppose. Who's the Eagles? Might be the class, huh?
Yeah, they're good.
And the Rams are talented, but I don't know. So we got that.
Oh, by the way, I have your answer. Rihanna is married to the rapper named ASAP Rocky, in which the S in ASAP is a $sign.
I see.
Didn't
A$AP Rocky.
she
A$AP
used to be married to somebody else?
Oh, I can
I
look
thought
that
she
up.
was married to.
This might be Rihanna's first.
No, she was with. Oh, she got beat up by. Was she the one that
Oh,
got
she
beat
was
up?
with Chris Brown. That's what you're thinking of.
Bobby.
Chris Brown. Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Is she Haitian? I believe she's Haitian.
She was
Really?
born
Well,
in
good for her.
Barbados.
Well, then
Okay,
I'm wrong.
Barbados has probably
ain't
got a
Haiti.
little. They got a better situation than Haiti right now.
Well,
so I would say Barbados does.
Sudan is better than Haiti. Haiti's got issues.
By the way, gentlemen,
Haiti?
we got the Calcutta Clipper down in the
Oh, boy.
in the Atlantic,
Yeah.
and she's going around down there by Cuba, and she's swinging up and she's swinging down, and she's coming around. She's taking a
I
hard.
understand
They
the weather
take
patterns. Pick up the Calcutta Clipper, swings down, swings up, lakefront influence, and out.
Yep.
This has got the Atlantic Gulf Coast, and it's heading for my former.
No,
no,
the
it's-
one you've been
it's-
praying for.
It's right there. It's right there, heading right for the fort, man. It's taking a hard right turn, and it's. We just had. How about that Fiona? By the way,
He was a rough one.
it's like 6 days later. It's kicking the hell out of Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Get the.
The
Where the
Giants are at home tonight for Monday Night Football.
Ooh, you're gonna
Might
get weather.
we get weather?
You're gonna get weather. I bet.
No, still no. She's got to be gone from them now. But,
But
this
you got to
one,
have something.
I
from
can't
this
remember
new,
what this
What's the new
one's
one's called?
I can't remember, but she's heading. She's gonna take a right. How do they know it's gonna take a right
They
hand
got
turn?
models. They got
They got
computers.
It's gonna take a right hand turn. And
Yeah.
it's like the one I was on on the radio when it was coming up. It was coming up 75. You know, it was gonna come up and land in our. And I was
Hurricane
on saying,
Ian.
This is Ian.
Ian, I was saying, you can have that guy half price right now.
Right.
Call in now on
He
Saturday.
would sit there and watch the Weather Channel and say, "Come on, baby, hard
And then
left."
use the airwave to try to sell his property.
And it didn't hit. You know, I mean, it hit, but it didn't destroy it.
Well, is that why the Yankee game got rained out? Was that due to the
Yes.
Fiona?
Was due to something.
Okay. Because they rained out. They only played 6 last night in the Bronx.
You know, this will come as a shock to America. But you know who is a 100% complete fraud?
Who?
Spike Lee.
It doesn't
Spike
shock
Lee.
me.
Spike Lee, okay, front seat of the Knicks.
Yep.
Fine, loves basketball.
Yep.
Should love basketball because he's
He's a basketball guy.
Basketball guy. And, you know, there he is last night behind home plate.
Oh, he showed up
waving
there,
it.
huh?
Oh, yeah, just being a Yankee addict.
Yeah.
You lying fraud. You haven't been to a baseball game in 40 years, and all of a sudden he's wearing his Yankee stuff and he's
Yeah.
rooting for Aaron Judge did a home run.
What's
And the
up?
camera
What a
managed
phony.
to find him.
Oh, okay. Well, you couldn't miss him
Right.
if you showed. He was wearing something obvious, so if you're showing him, he's like
Yeah.
that every time Judge is
I
batting.
thought Judge was going to do it Friday night to win the game. Did you see the ball he hit?
Yeah, dead center
I
field.
thought he got it to win the game. That would have been pretty cool.
Do we count Barry Bonds in the 700 club?
Oh yeah, they count him. Yeah. Well, hell, the only
It's him
Yeah.
and Babe and Henry.
Well,
him
there's
and
4
Babe
now. And
yeah,
Pujols.
he's the
Pujols.
4, Albert.
Pujols.
You think the Dodgers threw him a couple of cookies?
I don't know.
They don't care.
That's
the
true.
Dodgers don't care.
It's-
They want.
they've already
had
won
him here-
106.
They had him here last year. They had him in the
Yep.
Dodgers. Had him for a while last year. Everybody likes him.
Throw him a fastball
You know
about right
what?
here.
Wainwright did it for what Jeter in
At the All-Star game.
All-Star
Yeah, you're
game.
right.
He threw, and then he was stupid enough to admit it after the game. But you just wonder, you know, if Dave Roberts, being an old baseball guy, might just say, you know, you don't have to throw sliders to. If you throw a slider to Albert, be sure to hang it.
Yeah, make sure it's belt tie.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Everybody had a good time. Albert, what a run though. He's had like 16 home runs since August 1st or 14 or something. It was not even in anyone's thought process that he could get there this
Someone
year.
had said, and I'm trying to find it right now, when Albert Pujols hit his first career home run, Tom Brady had 0 passing yards.
Really?
That's incredible. Think about that. The longevity alone.
Well, Tom Brady was probably in high school.
No, he was in the NFL, but he didn't play his rookie year.
Yeah, they had Bledsoe.
They had Drew Bledsoe.
My friend Ronnie Borges, when they decided to, when Belichick decided Bledsoe was healthy in time for the playoffs that first year, and Bledsoe, he decided not to go to Bledsoe, and Ronnie wrote a column saying what an idiot Belichick was. Ripping him. You got to go to Bledsoe. You got to play the wily veteran.
I wonder if Old Takes Exposed is grabbed a hold
the
of that one.
Patriots aren't doing that well, are they?
No, they're
Plus, they might have lost their quarterback.
Might have broke his ankle. Yeah, that's the deal there. Anyway, hey, Bethel and St. John's, hell of a game. 7,000.
there?
Yep, 7,000 people.
Bethel won, huh?
Bethel beat them. Bethel's good. They're really good. They didn't have last week.
Wait, did you say Bethel beat St. John's?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they beat them because they're better, I think. Their quarterback, got hurt in the fourth game, and he's a sixth-year guy. His quarterback got hurt on the fourth play of the season and missed the rest of that game and then the last game, but he was back. He was back with a brace on his left arm. He's got a dislocated elbow, but he played. He's a great kid, great guy. He works he's a Division III quarterback, Joe, with a full-time job, and he had a full-time job the last 2 years. He graduated like 2 years ago, and he's taken just enough classes to be, master's type classes to be eligible. It's the new world out there. But
St. Thomas pummeled some poor school I never heard
this
of.
school has only been playing sports for 2 years.
St. Thomas beat
Lincoln,
Lincoln?
California. So
I have a question for you because I was asked this and I don't know the answer to it. The wife and I went to homecoming for Mankato on Saturday. We took the boys to.
Did you go to the dance?
No, we didn't go to the dance, just the game. We went to Mankato versus UMary.
Yes.
And I was asked if Mankato could play with St. Thomas. And I don't know the answer to that because I don't really know.
Well, no,
I'm saying if they played each other, would it be a game?
Well, what's Mankato?
They're Division II. They're a good Division II
Last
program.
year, probably. I don't know if they still could. St. Thomas has picked up their recruiting. But
Okay.
Didn't St. Thomas go to Division II?
Was Mary the job that Hoffner took before?
Oh, I don't know.
Was that because he took some second-rate job?
I
Or
don't know.
Minot. No, it was
Minot. Okay. All I know is UMary's got a hell of a receiver. I think his last name is Kittner. He's a really good football player.
Yeah, well, I don't think the Mavs are as good as they've been. Last year they weren't that good, and this year they're struggling to beat Mary.
Yeah,
That's
we
not-
squeaked by the, is it the Marauders? I think it's the Marauders.
Marauders, maybe. Marauders.
I don't think it's pronounced Marauder.
Marauders. Well, that's how it's spelled. I didn't know how to pronounce
Yeah,
it.
what's the name of the Zapruder? Maybe the Zapruders. That
There's a Pruder film.
would be a good game. That's enough.
That's a bad logo.
We gave you more than you deserved once again this week. Thank you.
Beautiful.
You have heard me discuss my relationship with Josh Arnold for some time. The reason I advocate that you give Josh a call is simple. Trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. As has been said through all of our relationship, past results do not guarantee future returns. And while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can understand that Josh will make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. Yes, that is more common than you would like to think. Do yourself a favor and have a booking with Josh for the 48-minute free evaluation. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad that you did.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Royce is a paid endorser.